up, everybody? You already know who it is, targeting individual CJBK. So, as you can hear the car horns, that's their signal. Because it's the same horn that I've heard when I first walked in the door. Usually, they always give like a signal when I walk in the door, and that's when they begin um, their attacks on the target when they're in the home, because when they're in the home, now they're encased around electricity. um so okay, several things today, right? Like I said, I get hit with frequencies, directed energy. Well, the frequencies is basically, they can either um mess with your memories, or rather input um you know thoughts into your mind, or they can mess with your mood. They can, basically adjust like how you're actually feeling emotionally, or they can use vibrational frequencies to find the resonant frequency of any cell, organ, um, bone, whatever. They can find the resonant frequency of that, and then basically cause that cell to vibrate to a point where the cell is not just being destroyed due to increased heavy vibrations, which causes the cell to basically heat up, but it also prevents the cell from being able to regenerate. Um, then I'm also getting hit with the directed energy. The directed energy is like the energy that's basically free flowing in the air already, where um, they take the I forgot how to explain it. I think they're taking the positive, the electrons that's in the air, and then they're basically ionizing it. I can't really recall, because I know I've been, you know, getting hit a lot, especially in the brain. So I get a lot of brain fog, or they basically can disrupt the neural firing, between the synapses of the nerves. So a lot of things don't necessarily fire when I want to, or the way they should. When I want to be able to recall information or whatever. Then this, right? So Tony Pantallarusco, he has one older YouTube channel. I think it's called what is it called? Beads, Herbs and Beads, or something like that. I forgot. But yeah, he has this one particular video called "Grounding Yourself," right? And in this video, he takes magnums, and he repels them against each other, right? And he uses he does two different things. He takes magnets and repels them against each other, and then he uses like a type of like scotch tape, and he, like, as they're repelling each other, he's taping them all together to create like a rod, almost kind of like a magnetic force field in a sense, right? And then you can make a bunch of them and carry them with you, and then they basically repel energy, away from your body. Then he also did this other thing where he took a couple of magnets and had them repelling each other, but then he encased it in copper foil. I did the same. I don't have all of the things that he has, but I did something similar. So this was a fight for me. I would not suggest using N52 neodymium magnets, as you can see, but I did something kind of slick. I found a stick, because you don't want to use anything that has a magnetic pull to it. So if you, let's say you don't want to use a screw or some type of metal rod that will attract to the magnet, because I'm not exactly sure what it possibly does, but I think it might take away from the magnetism or something like that of the magnets. So I used this like this wooden stick, like it was like a branch that broken off a tree, and for whatever reason it was strong enough to hold all of the magnets together from separating and from actually breaking the stick. And then I was able to I used a like scotch tape to try to like further secure the magnets, as you can see, kind of like the reflectiveness. And I used like like a scotch tape to encase the magnets, and then I took the copper foil. So as you can see, I bought this on eBay. It's cheap too. It was like a whole roll, I think, for like, I think it was like $10, probably less than that, like 9, 7. I think like seven or $10, something like that. And then now the other thing, what I didn't have that Tony used was he used a pure copper. He used a pure copper wire. Me, I improvised with what I had and just in the house. I took an auxiliary cord and I stripped it down. I stripped it, where I exposed the copper of the cord, and I used that to basically wrap around the copper foil, and then I taped around that. So what I do with this, one thing I learned early on with the magnets, right? So this is like the normal neodymium magnets, right? So one thing I learned early on is, my perps, they have a tendency of attacking like my tonsils, thyroid, or, somewhere. They're always attacking this whole area here. And first thing I learned was that when they're attacking, if you read up on qigong, I've been telling people about qigong. Learn about that stuff. That stuff is powerful. Matter of fact, if you see someone practicing tai chi or qigong in the park or something, I say don't be afraid to walk up to them and ask them about what they're doing, because that stuff is powerful. They're managing the power they're managing the energy in that's within their body, that's being absorbed in their body, and they can basically disperse or redistribute that energy that's in their body away from their body. One thing I learned was I can actually, so for example, like with my hand, right, I can tense up my hand, right, but little do people realize when you tense your hand up, you are actually exuding like an amount of energy, right? You are actually able to push out energy from your body in a sense, right? Now, one thing I learned was not even just that. I was able, so as I'm like tensing up my index finger and my thumb, right? I would go like this, going across the neck, and then I would pinch. When I pinch, I literally can feel, it almost feels like as if there is like a film, like an invisible film of something around my skin. And it's definitely not natural, because I don't think, oh, so they're trying to tune it down a little bit. They're doing something, so whatever. But as I'm doing that, I can literally feel this film of, like, I guess you can call it the ionized energy, right? I can feel this film of ionized energy over my skin, and then when I pinch, it's almost like I can feel like something in between my fingers. I guess that's the energy itself. So as I'm tensing up my finger and my index finger and my thumb, and I bring it over the areas where they're attacking, and if I'm like holding this like right here, holding it right here, and then I pull away, I can feel the heat generate in between my fingers, right? And then I pinch. In that pinch, there's almost like a string of energy there's like a string of energy that I can feel right in between my index finger and my thumb. That in itself is the actual ionized energy that they're using to attack your body. So if they're attacking your neck and you practice doing that, you can literally feel the energy in between your thumb and your index finger. And then if you pull away, you will feel that actual pull of energy or something coming from your body. That is the energy that your body does not need. That is the energy that your body is actually taking in and actually being overstimulated with, that is basically causing your cells to basically, for lack of better term, basically it's killing your cells. It's basically electrocuting your cells in a sense. It's either energy or it's I believe it's energy. Then aside from that, then when I upgraded to the magnets, what I said was, okay, if I pinch the neodymium magnets with my index finger and my thumb, instantly, like just now, I felt like a release of pressure from like my cranium, right? Now, as I'm still pinching this, right? If I place it right over the area where they're attacking, it's like instant release of, it's like an instant relief of pressure, right? And then as I roll it around, I notice that they'll move, because it's almost like as if like they're taking like a laser and they're basically trying to direct it at a certain point of something. So as I move it around, I could feel them trying to move their like laser point around. So it's almost like I'm chasing them, tick for tack, tick for tack. Now, every day as I'm doing this, they're getting more and more irritated. So they try to change up their tactics. They even try to make it even deeper. They change the depth or the amplification of their the energy or the frequency, right? So I would pinch, right? And then as I'm feeling the relief, right, you would slowly start to almost feel like the energy is pulling out of your body. Now, then I started to do something like I would pull slowly away. And I wish there was a way that you can see it, because as I'm still pinching it, right, I strongly believe like there's like a if you could say it was like an energy beam or something that's connected to the magnet that's still going to the neck, because they're still trying to attack my neck at the same time. So it's like as I come back here, right, I find the point, because it's always a point. It's not, when they attack you, it's not like it's a big area they attack. It's usually a very, very specific spot. Remember, it's directed, so it's not like something that's like expanded. Remember, we're talking about millimeter wave frequencies, right? It's always like something like one point. So as I pinch the magnet and I place it right over the spot where it's at, the deeper they go, the further I press it down into the exact spot where they go. Then you would feel like that relief. It's like a slight relief, right? And then I pull away. Now, I kid you not, as you start to get better with it, you'll start to feel the magnet almost feel like it's trying to pull back to your body. That's usually them trying to basically keep you from pulling their energy away from you, because they want to keep attacking you, right? So now, as I'm pulling it away, it's amazing. It really does feel amazing, though. As I'm pulling it away, I'm basically holding their energy in my hand with this magnet. Now, but the other thing is, even though I'm holding the energy, right, the energy is only just going into my hand, right? So, what Tony Pantalleresco says is, like, when you're grounding yourself, you need to not just be able to conduct it, but it also has to transfer somewhere. So what he says is after you make that piece with the magnets and the copper, you want to attach the other end to something that's metal, right? So what I did was, I don't know, I just found something, I don't know, I found this Allen key, set, right? And I basically stripped the other end of the auxiliary cord, exposing the copper wires. And yeah, I definitely need a much more pure wire and everything, because it's starting to you know yeah, it's starting to like become exposed, and then as it becomes exposed, it's starting to break off a little by little. But and I taped it to this, right? What you want to do is make sure that's not near you. It's not near you and it's not touching you, right? Then what you do is I same thing you did with the other magnet, right? You can probably just take the copper exposed side and place it right over the spot where they're attacking you at. And then that energy what you should feel is that same transfer of energy coming from your body, and then it'll go into the magnet copper piece, but then it should also transfer through the cord and into the metal piece, where it will just basically disperse somewhere else, right? So right now I feel good, because after doing that, I'm just like, ooh, so and you know what? And I keep telling people, I believe in God, right? I believe in God, and I try my best to keep God's commandments. I'm not perfect. I've done things in my life, but I also realize, you can't beat yourself up and act like you can never make up for the things that you've done, or you can never be able to be forgiven for the things you've done. I mean, there are some things you might not be able to be forgiven for, like, you know, especially cold-blooded murder, but if it wasn't in self-defense and you were just out there just trying to prove a point to somebody, that's senseless murder, whatever. So, which this is what it is. Because they're basically doing this to me because I don't want to be told how to live my life. And that's the majority of most TIs, is someone doing these things to them because, they don't, because someone who's probably narcissistic and has, power and control issues, they like the sense of being able to tell people how to live their life and what they can do with their life and blah, blah, blah. Most TIs are generally, really nice people. And, yeah, for the most part, most of the TIs, I would say at least 93% that I've met, never gave me the feeling that, they were disrespectful people, that they were violent people, that they were, people who basically just, I don't know, like I never got any feeling like they were people to be threatened by, So it's like when I see these people and I talk to them and I meet them in person, or I'm talking to them online, and I'm just like, I mean, I've been on the phone with, TIs out in Canada. I've spoken on the phone to TIs in New Zealand, Australia, and I mean, it's crazy to realize that we're literally everywhere. It's so little of us and so many of the other people, the gang stalkers, or secret society, because they don't like the term gang stalker, so they want to be called a secret society, And then to know that, like, when I speak to some of these, TIs, especially the parents, they tell me the stories of, how their children are also being attacked because, if the parent don't want to give in, then we're just going to attack the kids too, and it blows my mind, because I'm like, all these people that's with the gang stalking, secret society and stuff, some of them are parents too. So I'm like, you are okay with someone using this technology against children, and you are a parent yourself. That's the part I never understood. But you know what? When you live in certain environments and you are, let's say, pressed for money, you kind of wouldn't. You probably, I guess, you probably wouldn't care as long as your people good and you making money. That's all that really matter, right? So now, but yeah, like I said, um, this has been doing wonders for me. And I've been doing this for at least the last 2 days, right? Ever since I found that stick that actually fits through the hole. Cause these N52 Neo Diamonds, they're super strong, ridiculous strong. And so when I found that stick to go through it, I was like, yes, I found something that could hold it in place. So they came back, so they don't like what I'm saying, so they're trying to attack me some more. And then, man, every time I use it, it just goes. Shoo. It's like, So that Tony, he says, you should definitely always try to keep it always have it making contact to the skin, right? Oh, yeah, and I'm telling you, it literally almost works that instant, like, you know, yeah. So, what do I call it? I wonder if it's the same if I just put it on my hip, because I try to keep it like so. What I do is, like, when I'm working, right, I have the metal piece in my book bag, right. I'll keep that in my book bag, and I would have the magnetic piece kind of kind of slung over my shoulder, like, as the book bag. I have like a little pocket on the book bag, and then I have the cord with the magnetic piece just kind of slung over my shoulder. So whenever I start to feel them hitting me in my neck, easy, just grab, bloop, put it right there, drain, cool. So right now I got it on my hip, and I think it's working pretty darn good right now, because right now I'm not necessarily, like, I feel them trying to attack my neck, because right now I know they've been putting in so much work on my tonsils. My tonsils no longer feel rounded anymore. Like, so this tonsil here, right? The tonsil is supposed to feel like almost like for lack of a better word, the tonsil feels like a testicle, honestly. It feels like a testicle, but what they're doing, let me see if I can pull some of that out. What they're basically doing, right? It's almost as if it's like they're taking a what's this? How should I describe it? It's like they basically are taking like a hot knife or something, and they're pressing down on it, or as if not even like that, but it's almost like it's stretching, or like I don't know, because it's supposed to be oval shaped, right? But it feels like the tonsil is like pulling apart, like it's literally like pulling apart. So it feels more like oh it feels like in like a what is it? Is that embryo? It's like when it splits. I forgot what's the term for that. But like when a cell is like beginning to split in two, that's exactly what it feels like. It feels like that one tonsil is like splitting into two. So and then once I reset it, and I draw the energy away from it, right? When I draw the energy away from it, okay. Okay, let me try it now. It kind of goes back to its normal shape. So, but they've been going so hard on me lately. They've been going so hard, and I think it's because the more and more I'm getting this information out, the harder they're gonna come. So as I'm trying to get this stuff out, I keep telling people, I don't know how long God is gonna allow me to keep doing this for, but like I said, I don't worry about that. I just keep going. I just keep going. I just keep going. Because at the end of the day, God said for all of us to never worry about death. Because we're not meant to really live on this earth forever anyway. What we're supposed to do is, show that we can actually be loving creatures and actually take care of one another and learn to appreciate, every one of us in our own unique way. Love thy neighbor as you would love thyself. So as I'm trying to, learn about all this and get this out, I would hope that other people would, basically do the same. And like I've been trying to push to all TI, don't focus so much on how much it hurts and how painful it is. I know, trust me, it definitely hurts. It's extremely painful. I know, I get it. But what you gotta do is you gotta use that. You gotta use it. Don't use it and then, get real irritated and try to go out and do something, because that's exactly what the perks want, because you'll basically be giving in to what they want. They want to see you go crazy, because then that's how they get paid. Remember, all of this is to get you to either do something that's going to get you locked up, or do something, or they'll do something to you that'll get you basically misdiagnosed with something that with some psychological illness that you don't even have. Paranoid schizophrenia being the main one, which is kind of like one of the biggest lies of the whole what's that I forgot the name of that psych. It's a huge book of all the different psychological illness disorders and stuff like that. Modelo plug. Drink Modelo. Anyway. Yeah. I'm sorry, but I start work at 4:30 in the morning, meaning I get up at 2:30, and then I finish around 12:30, 1 o'clock. So, and I'm walking around the city making deliveries and stuff all day. I reward myself with at least 2 beers. Then same thing goes for like they go for my knees, right? They go for my knees because they know, I have to walk around a lot. So what they'll do is they'll go for my knee joints. They'll go for the joints, or they're like basically going for the meniscus, the cartilage, all the soft tissue, because they want to see if they can get me to no longer be able to move around. So I do the same thing, so with my knee, I basically just like I'll take a magnet and I just kind of go over my knee just to draw out whatever, energy that's in there as well. So here, I'm gonna post this other video later, right? But peep this. So this is the second time this has happened, right? And I'm not sure how frequently this has happened with the company of Amazon, but since I've been working here, working with the company, and whatchamacallit, of course, electronic harassment and everything, and they hack my phone, and if they can hack my phone, they can gain access to the servers of any app or any company, probably, just like how they can deny an electronic transfer of payment if I'm trying to order an Uber. You've seen the video prior that I have a video where I'm trying to order an Uber to go somewhere, and I have money in my account, and they basically go into the Uber app, and they basically stop or they basically interrupt or intercept the the data being transferred to the Uber that lets them process the payment. They'll stop it and then they'll say, "Oh, try another card, please." But then I'll go back to my account and see there's $700 in it, and I'm just like, "What?" So today, Amazon and all of their other party, you know, all of their umbrella products, I'll say, their servers are down. This is the second time this has happened since I've been working. Well, the first time was, I think, back in June. It was either June or July. Now, it's happened today. And it didn't start until about around my fourth truck route. So let's say somewhere around I want to say somewhere around like 11:15 a.m. Today is Tuesday, December 7th, right? So, like I said, radio, like vibrational frequencies, if you have the right equipment, which is probably like an antenna, some type of amplifier or whatever, some I don't really know how to use this stuff. I'm just learning how they do it. I don't know how to do it. I mean, like, I don't know how exactly, but I have like a very, very basic understanding of what happens, because I found the technological articles and the studies of scientists and technicians who are using frequencies, vibrational frequencies in experiments. You can basically send a vibrational frequency to a device, and it can activate the device, even without you picking up the phone. It can activate the device, and then once it activates the device, they can open up the device and gain access to any part of the phone that they want, right? Vibrational frequencies. So yeah, whatchamacallit? Yeah, they basically, I believe they probably shut down the servers of Amazon for a second time, because they hate the idea that I'm working. They hate the idea that that I'm so successful, as they say. He's so successful with his snitching, you know. And I still find it amazing how they're saying I'm snitching for trying to defend my right to say no. I'm saying no to being told how to live my life, especially if I'm not a threat to nobody. If I was never a threat to somebody, and now a group of people working in the shadows is trying to infiltrate on my life and tell me that I'm supposed to become a police officer. And I'm just like, no, I never wanted to be a police officer. And they're like, you're supposed to become a police officer. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm supposed? And you know what? If you don't know this yet, there are many psychological tactics that the Nazis even used during, their propaganda spreading, and how they basically manipulated parts of Europe to agree in the torture and the killing of, the Jewish population. So basically what they're doing is they're basically trying to manipulate everyone who lives in particular neighborhoods, particular, economic statuses, people who are living in certain situations. They're manipulating them and using the no snitching, they're using the no snitching policy against everyone. And when you live in certain areas, everyone is probably more afraid of being labeled that than anything else, right? So of course that's going to be the thing that they use. That's going to be the tactic that they use. But here's the other thing. All these people already know off rip, if anybody ever walked up to them and told them to do something that they don't want to do, They would punch them dead in their face, like straight up. They would punch them dead in their face or tell them get the hell out of here, you know. But because this is someone who basically they can't see and they can't touch, it's a lot different. It's a lot more scarier because when you and look, I'm getting chills and goosebumps, so I know God is about to speak through me right now. It's a lot scarier when you can't defend yourself against someone you can't see, but they can cause harm to you. And they can cause an endless amount of harm to you. So it's like on one side, I get it. I get why everybody is going along with it because you're not trying to see that. You don't want no smoke with something that you can't see or touch. I get it. But at the same time, one, God. I was like, something don't feel right, and I'm like, you know what? I've had spiritual dissonance since I was aware of my spiritual dissonance since I was a young child. You know, two, I hate bullies. I really, really hate bullies. I'm not a violent person, but I will defend myself, and I hate bullies. I really hate bullies. Like if I ever was to like become somebody that wanted to be like a vigilante good guy, man, I would be doing a lot of cops a favor and a disservice at the same time, honestly. Um, and I'd be really smart about it. But anyway. Um, and then three, um, how you gonna let somebody you don't even know tell you they trying to offer you an opportunity, but then if you don't want the opportunity, they gonna kill you or slow kill you. And then not just that, they're also using private servers because if they're torturing you, trust and believe, they're basically watching you through Raytheon. Thank you, Raytheon, for that video. So there is technology where they can, basically have a augmented reality view of the electromagnetic spectrum of an entire area. So think of a Google Maps, right? And you know how like in Google Maps basically try to hide all the people and whatnot, but you can see like the 3D version of a building and all these different things. Well, think of like a Google Maps, but then if you throw in the layer of, where it can show the electromagnetic fields of everything, especially anything that generates electricity, that's basically what they are viewing you from. So, satellite. Satellite imaging that can actually view the electromagnetic field of just about everything, right? Because when you are paying attention to what they're saying, because remember, they're basically being like commentators. If you pay attention to what they're saying and you pay attention to what you're doing, it's not even just that they're seeing everything from what you see. You even get the feel that if you close your eyes and you do things, you can tell that they're also watching you, like literally watching you from like a type of spectrum. So when I seen that Raytheon video of electromagnetic spectrum warfare, I forgot. I gotta start writing this stuff down. But yeah, when I seen that video, and the military is already using that type of stuff, when it comes to like trying to engage targets, tanks and missiles and stuff like that. They're already using that type of technology. But now it's at the point where these people, whether the handlers, the electronic handlers, maybe they might be ex-military, maybe they just might have worked for a company that designed software that can do just the same as the Raytheon program can. But yeah, I don't know. The Army has a quantum spectrum analyzer, but I don't think they're trying to use it domestically. And they need to, because they don't realize they're about to, like, they're, China and Russia is not their only opponent. You know, but it is what it is. And, whatchamacallit? Yeah, I mean, at some point, I already know I'm gonna die. I mean, we all gotta die someday anyway. And I know my death is probably not going to be easy at all, because right now they're torturing the mess out of me. But, God willing, I'm bending, but I will not break. I refuse to break. So I will continue to bend as much as I can. Um, but yeah, it still just bothers me so much when I think about it, how some of these people are parents. Some of these people are parents. And when I hear the testimonies of targeted individuals who are parents, and they're talking about their children who are waking up, and then all of a sudden they got actual visual burn marks on their body, because not every handler is the same. There are some handlers who are actually a lot more vindictive than the others, who will actually leave visible marks on you and do all certain types of things. Um, my perps, they're a lot more. Oh wow, yeah. So they're attacking my genitals, and I took the magnet, and the for lack of better words, um, I pinched the magnet, and I'm like holding it over my testicles, and as I'm trying to pull the magnet away, it's pulling the magnet back towards my genitals. So it's like, yeah, they're mad at me. Um, so yeah, um, I can't believe the military is has the news acting like they don't know what's happening. It's BS, because this technology is not new. It's just not been really talked about. Now the interesting thing is, a lot of the stuff that's been going on, it's already in movies. It's in movies, it's in television shows. A lot of the things that's happening have already been shown in the movie already. So funny how Hollywood always seems to kind of know uh, what's about to happen to the actual world, before it happens. Or rather, someone in Hollywood already knows about what's happening, and they're low key just trying to give the world a hint and a half about what's going on. But we're just all so caught up in the fantasy of it all. They like to say, Chris, this is not a movie, and I'm like, I'm very much aware of it. This hurts. All of it hurts. You know, but yeah, and then my mom, like I said, I did not renew my lease to my old apartment back in the Bronx. So I'm, living in Brooklyn, and my mom, she's like, I try to teach her as much of this stuff as I can, but she's like real old school Christian. She isn't really trying to feel the whole, EMF stones, and she's not really trying to feel the whole thing out about trying to learn about how to defend yourself against this technology. It's little by little I could get her to understand some things, but I believe they're also overstimulating her body, because her body is constantly being inflamed and tense, and and then now she's like complaining about her legs being burned while she's like sleeping, you know um so I'm basically trying to do everything that I can to learn as much as I can, and then just spit it back out. And as I'm spitting it back out, I'm hoping someone's going to use this information and then try to make a better um and try to make a better yeah, someone's going to refine everything that I'm saying, because I know when I leave this earth, I know when I leave this earth, it's up to y'all. Y'all could take everything that I'm saying and not use it, or you can take everything that I'm saying and just clean it up better. But either way, um, this stuff is real, and it's effective. But just also keep in mind that the perps, you know, they have advanced technology. Me, I'm using DIY simple stuff I just bought from, like, stuff you could buy from like a hardware store and things of that sort. So, and remember, I've never really been, I mean, I was into technology as a kid, but I don't know, I lost my ways in that years ago. Um, but yeah, so I'm just basically trying to learn how to defend myself and then teach other people how to defend themselves. But yeah, I have a bunch of videos I gotta upload of today's serial network hacking and jamming that they've been doing. Especially the number of times I was flipping between my 4G LTE and or it's flipping from the LTE to the 4G, still nothing. VPN turned on, turned off, still nothing. All kinds of stuff. So and you know what? I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. They're like, he's peaceful about his snitching, and I'm just like, well, I've always been a peaceful person, but I've never been a snitch before. But if I can't hurt you, if I can't physically defend myself against you, what do I have? What do I have? What can I do? So the one thing I know I can do is I can talk about it. That's my only defense. And I can pray about it. And so far, I'm liking the progress of how this is going. Yeah, it's increasing, but at the same time, I'm God willing. I'm not really worried about my life here on Earth at this point. I kind of made up in my mind about that. You know, out of the 15 months that I've been aware of my targeting, I'd say I made my mind up like about the second month that, yeah, this is not going nowhere. So I'm just gonna have to adjust to this. I'm gonna have to change my whole life around this. Um, yeah. So I got some more stuff coming in. I got like Orgonite that I'm supposed to place on the back of the phone and absorbs the EMF that's being emitted from the phone. I also have like a bracelet that has like Orgonite beads and other type of stuff on it, including like an Orgonite pyramid coming. But this coming weekend, I plan on purchasing a thermal imaging scanner. I plan on I plan on purchasing a EMF scanner if I can. If my budget allows it. I want to get like an official EMF scanner, not the one that like in my phone, like not an app, but the actual one. And then yeah, the longer I've been holding the phone in my hand, because they're pushing out the EMF radiation in my phone. So after a while, my hand actually starts to go numb. That's how much radiation is coming from my phone. So yeah, I'll keep everyone posted. And remember, if you don't hear from me after a certain period of time, God called me up. Either that, or they found a way to put me in jail from some type of framing or some type of setup that they did. So anyway, yeah. This is Target Individual CJBK, and as always, remember, take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Peace.